Greetings and welcome to the Culture Ward, where we dissect and dismantle pop culture in all forms. Young, vivacious actress Sydney Sweeney is once again in the news. First, for a rather disappointing opening weekend at the box office with her latest film, Christy, but perhaps more conspicuously, for answers she gave in an interview when the topic of, blue jeans and eugenics came up. While a certain segment of the online population seethed with indignation at her comments, they were actually a masterclass in handling celebrity interviews. How, you may ask? Well, join us as we break it down. Before we begin, please take a second to hit that subscribe button and help us grow the channel. As always, it really means a lot to us. And don't forget to like and share the video if you enjoy the content. And now, without further ado, let's get into it. Sydney Sweeney, a 28-year-old actress, conventionally attractive, unapologetically feminine, who has never been afraid to show off her big old smile, and some other things. She began her career back around 2009 with small roles in Heroes and Criminal Minds and continued getting small roles until her breakout in the HBO series Euphoria in 2019, where she played the promiscuous teenager Cassie Howard. Now, since then, she has appeared in multiple films and television shows and has become an important figure in pop culture, notably being named on Forbes' 30 Under 30 celebrity list in 2023. She has also been a rather polarizing figure, unfairly, if you ask me, serving as kind of a punching bag in the culture wars. A lot of woke liberals have attacked her in the past for her perceived political leanings. She is presumed to be a conservative and/or Republican, and that's like kryptonite to the Hollywood social sphere. But she's never really commented on it one way or another. Now, currently, she can be seen in theaters in the biopic Christy, which tells the story of trailblazing female boxer Christy Martin, where she plays the title character. Reviews of the film have been pretty good so far, with Sweeney's performance specifically being praised. However, despite the positive press, the movie hasn't exactly shattered expectations. In fact, it had one of the worst box office debuts of all time, bringing in only $1.3 million over its first weekend. Now, that number has since climbed to about $1.7 million, but with an estimated budget of at least $30 million for this movie, it seems like it's going to be a bomb with a capital B, or it's going to disappoint with a double D.
Did you see what I did there?
Now, even professional mainstream film critics know that boxing movies about real people just don't connect with audiences, leading to box office apathy. Additionally, it's an indie movie without major studio backing. It wasn't marketed well, and it opened alongside the blockbuster action film Predator: Badlands. Also, as I've said before, movies have gotten so expensive, and the economy frankly sucks for so many people right now, that people just don't go to the movies like they used to, especially to see smaller films without big action or spectacle. They can wait 65 days and watch it in their living rooms for free and not really lose any of the experience. Now, I think this is going to be a more and more common phenomenon going forward. But what wouldn't be fair to say is that it's Sydney Sweeney's fault that the movie bombed. While it's true that Sweeney herself hasn't historically been a huge box office draw, her presence in the movies itself isn't what makes them tank. In fact, as noted before, most people were impressed with her performance in this film. Well, except for people like gay, lesbian, LGBT actress Ruby Rose, who happens to be gay, by the way. Apparently, the openly lesbian Rose blames Sydney Sweeney 100% for the movie's bad opening, claiming that, quote, "No one wants to see someone who hates them parading around pretending to be us." Can you imagine a liberal saying that in the year 2025? When everything that has come out of Hollywood for the past 10 years has been openly antagonistic and hateful toward the other side of the political spectrum?
Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks.
It boggles my mind, the lack of self-awareness that these people have. Well, for context, the real Christy Martin, the namesake of the movie, is an openly gay person as well. And people like Ruby Rose take umbrage at the thought of a non-gay actress playing a gay person. Ruby Rose went on to call out Sweeney directly, saying, quote, "You're a cretin and you ruined the film. Period. Christy deserved better." Now, it is important to note that the real Christy Martin actually applauded Sweeney's performance, stating that she did an awesome job telling her story, adding that Sweeney wasn't playing the, quote, beautifully sexy Sydney, but the rugged Christy in this movie, and I think it's awesome. So why was the lesbian Ruby Rose, who happens to be gay, did I mention she was gay, so critical and salty towards Sweeney? Well, that has apparently been brewing for some time, with rumors that she is registered as a Republican and panders to the alt-right, and therefore hates gay people like Ruby Rose, I guess. I don't know. The Hollywood not intelligentsia. What's the opposite of intelligentsia? Ignorancia. Can I coin that term? Or whatever, you know what I mean. The Hollywood unintelligentsia has been attacking Sydney Sweeney for a long time now. Now maybe it's because of the rumors of her political affiliation, or maybe it's because she's an attractive white straight woman who leans into her attractive white straight femininity that makes them mad. Or maybe it's because she won't, at least not yet, apparently bend the knee to the woke mob. And that brings us to the real reason for this video. Remember a few months ago, one of the biggest and dumbest battles in the never-ending culture war was waged over a certain American Eagle ad. Sydney Sweeney appeared in an ad for blue jeans and made a pun about having, quote, good genes. Let's just play the clip.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has her genes.
Right, so in an ad about blue jeans, featuring an attractive woman, the writers of the ad made a pun about Sydney Sweeney having good genes. So, of course, it was really a coded message about white supremacy, and the woke mobsters were actually serious about that. Let's take a look at some of those.
You guys are complaining about that Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it. That's Nazi propaganda. Wow. Don't forget to boycott American Eagle for their racist. They're racist online, talking about blue jeans and white people. Boycott American Eagle. Boycott the shit out of them. Boycott American Eagle. Do not buy them. And cancel this person. Miss Sweeney, cancel for her being racist. Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
They're literally saying the quiet part out loud, but was it ever truly quiet when you're wearing dumbass merch like this? I mean, really. Make America great again. When was America ever great?
Yep, that got me too. And I don't know why. Maybe because it's just so blatant. Did American Eagle just run an ad for eugenics? Totally just talking about denim, right? Just a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman explaining how her good genes gave her personality and purity. I mean,
Really? American Eagle, white supremacist since 1977. Well, as soon as these geniuses on social media cracked that code, they began demanding that Sydney Sweeney denounce the Nazi messaging that was obviously in the ad. When she refused to do so, they could only conclude that she was also a eugenicist. You see, they were ostensibly shocked and appalled that she would be affiliated with such hateful messaging, but what really pissed them off is her refusal to bow down to their pressure campaign. And we saw this come to a head again last week when Sweeney sat down for an interview with this woman, who apparently works for GQ. Anyway, during a sprawling and candid conversation, the topic of the American Eagle ad was broached, rather ham-handedly, by the interviewer. I think her name is Catherine Stoffel. Let's take a look.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah, I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans. The criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
You got that? The interviewer just wanted to give Sydney a chance to apologize for being a white supremacist. I mean, that's what stupid people are calling you. Don't you want to apologize to those stupid people for being the thing that they think you are? I have to give props to Matt Walsh on this one. I think he said it best.
It's the moment when the reporter Catherine Stoffel tried to get her to apologize for her good genes ad that everybody pretended to be upset about. And first of all, of course, there's the question from the reporter. This is every leftist millennial woman in a nutshell. This is almost every female you'll find in media or politics. All right there, the smarmy, up-talking tone, the smug facial expression, and most of all, the attempts to manipulate and control you while framing it passive-aggressively as an opportunity. So she says, I just want to give you the opportunity. I just want to give you the opportunity to apologize. I want to grant you. I really want to give you the chance to grovel and fall before my feet. It's like they're taking you up to the guillotine and saying, I want to give you the opportunity to put your head right there.
Truly remarkable, these people can't seem to grasp simple concepts. First, it was a pun. Second, it had nothing to do with Sydney's white genes. If anything, it was a remark about her attractiveness. In other words, this same ad would have played out exactly the same, with the same effect, if the actress was a beautiful black actress, or a gay one, or an Asian one, or a Muslim. In other words, it had nothing to do with race, political affiliation, sexual orientation, or other arbitrary social construct. It was about objective beauty. But really, It was about blue jeans. The blue jean ad was actually about blue jeans. I know it's a complicated subject, but American Eagle is in the business of selling jeans, and their ads are therefore geared towards selling jeans, not eugenics. But the real takeaway isn't really the idiocy of the interviewer or the countless mindless retards on social media that attacked Sydney Sweeney for her racial purity. It was that Sydney Sweeney handled these questions brilliantly. She didn't take the bait, she stayed on message, she refused to pander or grovel. She showed grace and restraint, and her answers actually reminded me of this clip.
You can't do it, can you? You can't just fucking apologize.
Okay, Beth, I'm sorry. You think you deserve an apology.
Now, I'm not the first to notice that this is a masterclass in publicity by Sydney Sweeney. The Access media is programmed to bait and trap unwary celebrities into puking up sound bites on hot-button issues. They demand that celebrities acknowledge and apologize for perceived slights against perceived marginalized communities. They insist on fealty to the wokeness, and they most certainly compel disavowal of anything related to the Orange Menace or his red-hatted army. And Sydney Sweeney refused to comply, and it drove them crazy. Alright, so this is one article from The Wrap titled "Sydney Sweeney Criticized for Brushing Off Racial Concerns of Great Jeans Ads. Quote, racists loved it." Over 3 months after her controversial Great Jeans ads release, the Euphoria actress opened up about the pushback the advertisement received in the interview with GQ, and many online took issue that the actress didn't denounce what many perceived to be racist undertones within the campaign. One person wrote on Instagram, quote, "Presuming that you are not a white supremacist, at least say how horrified you were by how this campaign was amplified and celebrated by unrepentant racists who believe in eugenics." So the same guy also said, "At least recognize the harm your genes campaign has caused black folk. The undertone of the campaign is that your genetics are superior to others. The play on words is clear as day and racists loved it." While Sweeney expressed surprise to the reaction the campaign stirred up on social media, quote, "The reaction was definitely a surprise, but I love jeans," she said. She dodged interviewer Catherine Stoffel's invitation to address those concerns. Yeah, what she said exactly, the criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. That was kind of the criticism, broadly speaking, Stoffel said. Since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about that specifically. And of course, we heard Sydney Sweeney respond that when she has an issue that she wants to speak about, people will hear. Alright, after Sweeney addressed the backlash in her GQ cover story, White Lotus actress Amy Lou Wood was one of the many to chime in on the matter, commenting a barfing emoji on Harriman's Instagram reel. Others went so far as to accuse the actress of pandering to bigots and being unapologetically pro-white. "Now I understand why people hate her," one ex-user wrote. So it's kind of crazy that the most famous actress and the biggest sex symbol on the planet is unapologetically pro-white. Kendall at Filmbitten writes, "Sydney Sweeney is such a fucking loser, and I hate to say that about someone who I used to believe had the potential to be great, but she's proved that she would rather pander to bigots than make good art. That's so lame." Another one says, "Hey, so do you want to just disavow white supremacy real quick?" No. The decade of the chud. Okay, your favorite is unapologetic about the AE ad and thinks it's surreal that the Trump posted about her. If it walks and talks like a racist, ... Alright, so just an idea of what some of these crazy ass people are saying. But listen, don't give in, Sydney. These people aren't your friends, and no matter how low you prostrate yourself at their filthy, entitled feet, they still won't be. They hate you because you're unapologetically beautiful, and because there is the slightest hint that you may even be, gag, conservative. And there's just no recovery from that. They will continue to hate you and demand more and more acts of contrition until there is nothing left of your soul. And I urge other freethinkers in the celebrity sphere to take notes on this exchange. Be like Sydney. Whether you're an alt-right maniac or an uber-left loony, don't let the Access media and the woke brigade define you. Don't let the cause of the day dictate your position or personality. Even if you agree with the interviewer, stay on message and avoid answering loaded and baiting questions, because it will almost always work against you and in favor of the media outlet that's pushing it. If you want to stay relevant for more than 15 minutes, you have to start distancing yourself from the culture wars. Talk about your professional projects, your craft, your hobbies, your favorite movies. but don't talk about politics. Don't talk about cultural issues. Don't answer questions designed to make headlines and stoke division. Be an actress or an actor or a musician or an artist, not a pundit or activist or social justice warrior. Every time you answer one of those questions and take on one of those roles, you are guaranteed to piss off a lot of potential fans, while only really pleasing a tiny fraction of a fractured population. I think we all know by this time that Hollywood is dying a death by 1,000 cuts. Many of those cuts have come from celebrities parroting left-wing talking points in interviews, alienating an already dwindling fan base. If you want to save your industry and bring prestige back to the red carpet, you would be wise to follow Ms. Sweeney's example. There's a rumor that Sydney Sweeney was registered as a Republican in Florida, and Donald Trump even commented on that rumor. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's ever been confirmed or not. But I do know that Sydney Sweeney hasn't confirmed it. She hasn't even addressed it, because Sydney Sweeney hasn't said one way or another who she voted for, which party she prefers, or what politics motivate her, or whether politics at all motivate her. And I love that. My favorite actors, musicians, artists are the ones whose political biases I don't know. Keep it to yourself.
Look, talking of all you perverts, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and
give money to your favorite charity or political cause, attend meetings, do whatever you want. You're still free to have whatever politics you choose. But just know that most normal people don't give a shit about it at best, and are actively turned off and repelled by it at worst. So keep those personal opinions out of your public persona, and it will only help your career and maybe even help your industry survive. It's certainly worth a try. So what do you think about the latest Sydney Sweeney controversy? How do you think she handled her GQ interview? Do you think her and American Eagle are white supremacists? Join the conversation in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I would just like to apologize here for the slow trickle of content lately. I've had a lot going on in personal and professional life, but I have several videos planned for the next few weeks. Hopefully we're going to get back to a normal schedule and get at least a couple of these out a week. Anyway, bye for now. We hope to see you next time in the Culture Wars.